Okay, hopefully this is the last one on bookmarks. I'm sorry to belabor the point, but there's a few more things you need to know about how to make these things look their best and behave the right way. One area that we haven't discussed so far is nested bookmarks, or bookmarks underneath other sections of the brief. The obvious place for this technique is underneath the argument area, where there's multiple or subparts underneath the argument stage. You can see in this case the main ones are bookmarked, but we may want to have other things to be bookmarked as well, which might include the subparts of the argument itself. So in this case, the statutory interpretation. Now in this situation, you may want to have a bookmark here and place it inside. Now you can see it didn't put it in the right place for whatever reason, so we can grab that bookmark and push it up above the conclusion and prayer. So now we have two underneath the argument. So let's check them to see if they work correctly at least. So we click on argument and we click on A. Of course A is right underneath it so it doesn't move, and then B, the statutory interpretation part. Okay, that's towards the bottom of the page, but I still think that works okay. And then of course there is a C as well. If we go down to this brief, then inside this brief is where the issues presented really begin. So underneath C, oops, let's gone too far. Let's create another bookmark, issues presented, so the court can find where the issues are. All right, so now we have A, B, and C. Now, it would be helpful if these were not in the top, or the main level, if you will. And how to make those levels change is to grab the bookmark and force it to indent one space. Like, for example, here, we're going to move it over underneath, and see now it's nested. So the argument section has A underneath it. And then again we can do the same thing for B. Grab it and push it in, and it creates a subcategory B. Now you can see these are long, and you probably should reduce them and probably make them small case to make them more readable. And you can do that of course by clicking on them once and then one more time, and that makes this text easily changed. So you can see I could retype this no problem and possibly shorten it. And in fact, when you're creating your titles, you may want to keep that in mind when you create them. You can also make this text smaller up in the options section under text size, small, medium, and large. So you could actually adjust it that way and make these bookmarks even smaller. But for purposes of this, because they're hard to read anyway because of this video, I'm going to leave them at least at the medium stage here. All right, and so continuing A, B, and then C, we're going to grab this bookmark and force it to indent. So now you can see underneath the argument, you can see there are multiple bookmarks, which can be expanded by pressing a small plus sign that expands it out into A, B, and C. Now you can continue with this structure because, for example, in this brief, underneath C, there's 4 issues. You may want to make it very easy for the court to see all 4 of these issues. So let me show you, and we can make the issues appear underneath the subpart C. So let's highlight one and show you what I mean. Let's create issue 1, a new bookmark, and now you can see it's quite long, but that's okay. Let me again move this up a little bit so you can see it better. Let's see, I don't want to do that. There we go. And underneath, you can see there's issue 1. It's not in the right spot yet, but let's move it to the right spot. We're going to move it up and indent it. Now, unfortunately, it's still on the same level as A, B, and C. I want to put it underneath C. Let's see if it lets us. It does. So you can see issue 1 is underneath C. So if you want to expand the issues presented, there it is. Now we can continue doing this indefinitely. In other words, adding more issues. All right, well, I hope that helps you with nested bookmarks.